Welcome, everyone. It's a real pleasure to be here with you today. As the automotive industry is recovering from the impact of COVID-19, it is really exciting to see how the auto industry is embracing new technologies like mixed reality to help employees be more productive and also operate in very safe and remote ways. I'm super excited to have Christian from Mercedes-Benz USA join us today to talk about their innovation in customer service and product design, where technologies like mixed reality and remote assistance with Dynamics 365 are providing efficient and safe environments to do business as we are all recovering from COVID-19. First of all, I'd like to welcome Rody Senner, Microsoft America's mixed reality sales lead, to share details with us on very specific use cases where mixed reality is driving impact in automotive.
Thank you, Sanjay. It's a pleasure to speak with you today, and truly our timing could not be better. This entire category of mixed reality is really taking a quantum step forward. We're moving out of POCs and pilots into broad-scale enterprise deployments. For automotive in particular, we're seeing rapid adoption in response to four critical factors at play in the industry today. Front and center, Sanjay mentioned COVID-19, its impact on our ability to service and support, inspect, collaborate, connect with our customers, right? This is a matter of business continuity. And then cars becoming far more complex. Admittedly, maybe not appropriately to this audience, I do still have a tape player in my car. But Christian, I know, will speak to this. And the new Mercedes S-Class is powered by more than 10 times the number of lines of code than in a Boeing Dreamliner. This introduces new complexities in both diagnosing and fixing issues across vendors, suppliers, and dealerships. Thirdly, the development of electric cars, requiring and retooling factories, new factory layouts, new assembly line configurations, retraining workers, prototyping those new designs. And then lastly, more personalized customer sales engagement and relationship, right? In this era of ever-increasing choice, more distraction, and now distance or remote reach. I want to spend some time discussing how mixed reality is addressing these front and center forces. But first, let's discuss two primary concepts that give mixed reality the potential to be the next biggest wave of computing we've seen yet. We're going beyond PCs, right? Mouse interface, limited mobility. We're going beyond smartphones, where you start to get that mobility and slightly more natural interaction with touch, but you still have pretty limited contextual awareness, maybe things like GPS, right? With mixed reality and spatial computing, a device like the HoloLens, not only are you mobile, but your head's up, your hands free, your physical and digital world are fused into this one immersive experience in which you operate, right? That immersion is driven from how an extremely powerful compute device on your head is able to understand the environment around you. It captures things like spatial sound, object recognition, location, light, boundaries. Think about the importance of a boundary when you are doing a redesign of a factory layout, right? And then key to immersion is how we interact with through eye tracking, hand tracking, voice control. This innate, right? We don't have to learn how. You pick up and resize that hologram as you would any other physical object in your world. So this combination of immersion and innate interaction of our physical and digital world as one enables us to experience these spatial concepts in 3D. We think in 3D. Our environments are not locked behind our 2D screens. And there's a cognitive load for translating a natively 3D concept from 2D, like an engine or a part on a manual, back to 3D. It introduces the opportunity for error. And not only that, but you often step away from the work to refer to that manual, and then you go back into your operation. So it's having spatial experience in 3D and having that 3D data placed in the context of your operation, right? Seeing the hologram at scale in your environment so you can actually see how the engine is operating, or how placement of a side view mirror on a prototype vehicle might impact visibility and thus safety of the bike lane. It's bringing that relevant data and spatially placing it in the context of the operation, which opens up this significant possibility. It's actually enabling us for the first time to give the first line workers the computing tools they need to more effectively and efficiently do their jobs, right? In automotive, how critical for your service technician, your production worker, that roadside assistance contractor, sales professionals, in addition to design teams and software engineers. These first line workers outnumber the information worker by 4 times. Yet traditionally, our tech investment, it just has not served them well. By arming our first line workers, not only do we drive major costs out of the equation from efficiency gains, but they're reporting 80% higher levels of job satisfaction. So in an industry with a technician shortage, this sounds like a pretty critical factor. We're working with customers across the auto ecosystem around the world on a spectrum of use cases that are really delivering value today. Mercedes-Benz is a hero example of this concept of remote assistance applied to dealership technician support, right? The ability for a technician to connect with an expert anywhere in the world in under a minute and have that expert not only see the technician's environment as though they were actually there, but to digitally kind of reach into that environment to overlay holographic arrows and annotate, indicating where a technician should tighten a bolt or adjust a cable, right? Pulling relevant data on the engine and spatially placing it, dialing in another expert if you need, recording that call, attaching it to the service ticket so you can later reference it. By troubleshooting problems in real time and eliminating the need for travel, we take something that used to take days down to minutes. You drive major costs out of the equation for the dealership, for corporate, as well as for the customer. And the same concept of remote assist is also being leveraged in numerous other scenarios within automotive. Things like end-of-line inspection with a vendor, fire inspection and compliance, or other such audits that now need to be performed remotely to keep business moving. Even scenarios such as roadside service technician assistance, right? That can be done through using remote assist on a modern mobile device. So in an environment of limited travel and more complex vehicles, an immersive mixed reality remote assist experience starts to deliver real value. The second most common mixed reality use case, delivering fast time to value, is training and operational guidance. Why? Most of us learn best by doing or simulating. So customers are now training engineers and dealerships on servicing a new vehicle at launch by interacting with a 3D model, following 3D training guidance to achieve that higher retention and faster mastery. And then if you take training into the operational workflow, PACCAR using holographic step-by-step instructions that actually show how the wiring of a cab's harness runs through the door right where the work is happening, keeping their service technician in the flow state, minimizing the reduce of errors and time to completion. Similarly, Toyota is using holographic guided workflows to measure paint thickness. This previously laborious task took custom paper cutouts, right, were then overlaid on the curved surface of the vehicle that would guide the worker where to measure, has now been replaced with an array of digital dots with the HoloLens. And it takes that task that used to take 2 people an entire day, now done by 1 person in 2 hours. Not only is this a dramatic efficiency gain and error reduction, but it's highly empowering for the employee to have the tool to more confidently and competently do the job. The third use case we're seeing is design and prototyping. In any single vehicle, thousands of design decisions are getting made, right? With mixed reality, the designer leverages a true-to-scale holographic 3D model without having to build every design prototype in clay, which limits creativity and it takes longer. And using that true-to-scale visualization interaction, the engineer evaluates variants of a concept literally in minutes, immediately understanding accessibility, installation options in these complex systems. And then further, you're able to collaborate on that model with stakeholders from engineering and management, which starts to drastically accelerate the design process. Case in point, Mercedes-Benz quite recently reported time savings of up to 1 year on vehicle model validation in their pilot. that is significant, right? Particularly in this competitive race to bringing new vehicles such as EVs into market. Speaking of EV, another use case emerging is retooling factories for the development of these electric cars, right? And other EV native companies who are now building big gigafactories, leveraging mixed reality to plan, design, and construct factory layouts or assembly line configuration by taking a digital twin of a CAD model, rendering it in high fidelity in the cloud, and then streaming it down to the HoloLens so that worker can see the model at scale and in the space, allows them to validate the design before they spend any money on construction. You eliminate major costs in rework. The last use case I'll touch on is connected immersive sales. We see customers using mixed reality for things like digital showroom and product customization, such as tires, rims, interior, right? As well as immersive experiences around certain features or specifications. We are only scratching the surface on the proliferation of use cases within automotive. We typically see one deployment expand into 4 more use cases as our customers start to understand the innovation and its potential real. Mercedes-Benz is a masterful example of a company that has actually harnessed the power of mixed reality truly at scale to transform something they do best, their customer experience. And because voice of customers ground truth, I want to hand it back to you, Sanjay, to kick off a discussion with our esteemed guest, Christian from Mercedes-Benz USA.
Thank you very much, Rody, for sharing those use cases. And as you've seen, these are very specific use cases that transverse different business functions within automotive, driving productivity and driving the digital transformation that we are seeing from a business function standpoint as well. Now it's my pleasure to welcome Christian Treiber to join and share his thoughts from a Mercedes-Benz USA standpoint. Christian?
Sanjay, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm honored to represent what our teams really have developed over the past 2 years, and my team was able to roll out through the entire Mercedes-Benz network in this difficult year of 2020. So thanks for having me. Maybe before we go into the details, let's kick off with a video clip to see the first impressions, what it means for a dealer in this overall process. Let's quickly have a look at it.
Mercedes-Benz has been around for 140 years, and we always strive to deliver the best technology and the best experience to our consumers.
Our technology is advancing how we communicate with our dealers and how we communicate with our technicians.
I think the biggest challenge technicians have now is the complexity of vehicles.
We deal with hundreds of cars every day. Whenever we need help with a vehicle that we can't figure out, we will get assistance from MBUSA. Sometimes it'll take a while to go back and forth between a case because I can't make it to my computer or they're busy with other cases.
Using Dynamics 365 Remote Assist, it's allowing our technicians to be able to service a vast number of dealerships in multiple locations without them having to leave. So we're able to actually cover the country in a much more efficient way, which increases customer satisfaction.
The most important thing is efficiency. We can have an engineer from Germany, we can have an engineer in Jacksonville, having all the support in the world combined at the dealership.
I could just put it on, get immediate support. They can literally point things out to me as I'm looking at it. They could circle it, they could draw lines. It's hands-on, it's literally right there. I could be talking with him, going through the vehicle in real time. It's very intuitive.
It's obviously a cost savings for us, but it's ultimately a bigger cost savings for the consumer and the dealer.
This is probably one of the single most important inventions that I've seen. The HoloLens and Dynamics 365 Remote Assist has just been a game changer in this business.
So when we started the journey, we had the customer, of course, in the center of everything. Customer centricity is key for us. So on the one hand, to create speed, because customers are relying on the transportation, and I think the last 9 months showed us clearly how important it is to make sure that this transportation is available. So the speed, we are able to diagnose and fix cars for consumers. Then with great quality, so we don't need customers to come back. Fix it right the first time is a term in the industry for this. But then also, you see the second partner in here are the technicians, our dealer partners. Create efficiencies for them. Because in the past years, I think it's fair to say that the complexity of the cars clearly increased. Also here with a focus on the consumer to make sure we focus on the driving experience, the in-car experience, lately with the connectivity features that are also now integrated in the vehicles. And then last but not least, sustainability. Being able to fixing the cars and having a guided repair over the air through this technology is a very important one. We don't need to travel by car or we don't need to travel by airplane, which will clearly reduce the carbon footprint overall for the environment, which is clearly one of our goals. So this summarizes this in a short, but I know, Sanjay, you have more questions, but maybe before we go there, let's have a look at another little video clip, how we will communicate it out to the consumers to clearly also manage the expectation.
At Mercedes-Benz, it's not just a job, it's our mission. From our expert technicians armed with state-of-the-art tools and technology to genuine parts made for the perfect fit. Whether it's our place or yours, we're there. Rain or shine, day or night. No one knows your vehicle better. To learn all the ways we can be at your service, call, click, or visit a dealership near you.
Thank you, Christian, for that, for sharing those thoughts. And it's really exciting to see how your organization has embraced mixed reality and putting the consumer in the center and driving efficiencies throughout. I had a few questions, Christian, in terms of understanding a little bit more about this initiative. So to just start off with, if you could share with us from a customer service perspective, what were some of the top priorities that you're going after to help address using this technology? That would be super helpful.
So first of all, I think especially the 9 last months where with a clear focus on my team, keep them safe, and this technology absolutely help, but also keep our dealer partners safe and ensure that customers get back into their cars rather sooner than later and ensure the transportation capability as they rely on it so much. Yeah? Train and support our dealer partners, but again, also then in this context, deliver exceptional service. Because by the end of the day, whenever a consumer comes to one of our dealerships, they expect the service, that it's timely, it's fast, so they can get back into their cars. So these are the clear priorities for this technology.
Got it. And from a COVID-19 impact, could you also share a few additional thoughts in terms of how the company adapted to respond to that COVID-19 impact?
I mean, we are very operational, as you can imagine, shipping parts, picking parts every day in our warehouses, or getting the cars ready, get them to the dealerships and then to the consumers. So also here, our focus was, of course, the safety of our teams, but also at the same time give them flexibility. Because all of a sudden you're at home, school is closed, daycare is closed. They need to adjust. They need to adjust their personal life. They need to adjust their times where they work. So giving them the flexibility was a very important one as well. And then communicate. I think I clearly say I communicated more over the last 9 months and before to really keep them updated. What do we experience as a company? What do I experience my personal life with our son at home, not being able to go to school? But then also, what are we doing for our dealer partners? Lift tasks, and we also lifted requirements, which in this very, let's say, changed environment would disrupt them. or would keep them away from focusing on the consumer.
Thank you, Christian. Another thing I just want to get your view on, in terms of the problems and challenges, the top problems and challenges that you were trying to address with HoloLens 2 and Dynamics 365 remote assist. Could you share what some of the top challenges were?
So number one is time. I think when you talk to your team, I think valuing customers' time is right up on the priority list for us. But at the same time, ensure the quality. So instead of waiting for a field technical specialist driving or flying to the dealership, because we have 383 of those in the country, and we were very successful over the past years and have roughly 4 million cars in the country, and they're across all the states. So we can't be everywhere at the same time. So we were able with that to increase the speed here, and at the same time also the quality to fix those cars.
Very good. So in terms of, and I know this is the implementation is going on, and you're still getting deep experiences and returns out of this effort. But curious to understand the impact so far. What kind of improvements are you seeing in terms of cost savings or time savings? And also, what about the technician accuracy and productivity as well?
That was one of our other priorities, the efficiency of the technician. Now, they're so crucial to the industry. I'm very passionate about them because it's not that greasy job and they're doing this oil changes. They do so much diagnostic work and have to scope with the complexity of the vehicles due to the additional technology we see now in the cars to create this efficiency on the one hand. But on the other hand, we also wanted to make sure that we learned through a pilot, which we did. And in the pilot, when you take 100 cases, we were roughly able to fix 35, 40 with this technology. Today, we had 70% of the cases that come in through the HoloLens and the Dynamics 365 software. So I'm very excited about it. That's a good trend. But I think we also need to be open to giving the technicians, giving the organization a little bit more confidence in this technology so they use it more often. That's one of the goals I clearly have. And it may take a little bit of time because we just launched in the summer. But that's something where we are looking at now. So we have more and more cases coming in overall.
Very good. Christian, it's very clear you're passionate about transforming the perception of service technician. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? And also, has enabling technicians with access to cutting technology like mixed reality helped influence the perception of technicians?
I'd say we're on a journey. When you look into the history of the business in the US, which is a great one, at one point we called them mechanics. Now we call them technicians. To be fair, I believe it doesn't do any justice to what technicians do every day. The technology they have to scope with, the complexity of the cars, but also the excitement around all the innovations. I think there's a very important journey we started, but it goes much further. We today ask a lot about college degrees. I don't believe you need a college degree to be a great technician and to be part of this brand and this organization. If you have an interest in cars, you're an enthusiast, you have a technical understanding, and you have the great and the right mindset of working in a team, being respectful, being honest, we can train you. We help, and we have several programs. We work with high schools, we work with colleges. We have an approved apprenticeship program for veterans as well. So this is a journey, Sanjay, to be honest. We started a few years back. Well, we are not there yet, but I'm very, very confident, and I see the support from the dealers we have in this context.
Thank you, Christian. It's really inspirational to see the work you're doing and the impact that you're making in this whole domain. So just in closing, I'm curious to understand what's next. How are you envisioning the expansion of this technology and additional technologies moving forward?
I think a very, very important point, as we always challenge the status quo and thinking about the next opportunity that's out there, but how can we help? And again, the focus is here on the customers, but then also on the technicians. Guided repairs, training, even in the retail world for sales associates, but also create a library for technicians where they can pick certain repairs, so it's available when they need it and not when they need to talk to someone from my team. Yeah, the next one is really to give them more flexibility, do it on their terms, and when they need it, in California, in New Jersey, in Nebraska, or wherever it is, when the customer is there, maybe even waiting, that they can fix the car and make it available again to the customer.
Thank you very much, Christian. Amazing story. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Rody, for sharing the perspectives from the various use cases for mixed reality in automotive. It's an incredibly exciting time for automotive today, and I'm really excited with how this industry is adopting advanced technologies like mixed realities. In fact, more faster than many other industries, and looking at every challenge that is coming our way and transforming and get ahead of it using these technologies. So for the team, if you're interested in learning more about Microsoft's automotive and mixed reality capabilities and how we are working with customers and partners, we are sharing a few sites, links to sites that you can go and get some additional information. So with that, I'd like to once again thank Christian and Rody for joining us today, and looking forward to following up on these discussions in the future. Thank you.